This is the 9 Club kids.
Let's see what this
The
thing
first
is looking
look.
like.
First look.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
I was going into elementary school at this point.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first day.
It's usually where they take the photos, right? First day.
That was your first day of high school?
Yeah, this is my first day of college, community college.
Yeah, college?
Community college. Our names aren't even on it either.
Oh yeah,
That's
huh?
the
We
best
didn't put our
part.
names on there.
Yeah. I think people might be able to guess who we are.
All right. Oh wait. Oh my god. All right, this is a real picture. Okay. This is a real picture that I brought to the table, and this is what Charlie has came up with.
We got a little 9 Club on the top. There we go.
What are you guys thinking?
Paul, is this the best board graphic you've ever seen?
Oh, it's totally hot.
Yeah.
They're amazing. When I saw the files, I was like, wow. What a fun play, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
What a
we're
fun
stoked.
play. Yeah. Looking good, guys. I won't show it to you if I can.
I don't know when the fuck this was.
So we'll pull these up on the show too.
Nice.
So Paul, we got a bunch of questions ready for you from the audience.
Yeah, I saw we got all kinds.
Well, we did
I brought some things based on some of those questions.
Okay, well, we don't know because we got Instagram questions, we got YouTube questions, and Discord questions.
And I only
so-
paid attention to Instagram.
That's what I thought. So
But
I got a bunch
I
of
thought
stuff.
the reality is that the amount of comments and stuff I saw on Instagram, like, oh, there's enough there to go for 20 hours. So I got a Creative Skate height chart here, specifically marking the
This is who can.
sizes of the females in the U.S., the world, and Asia, and the males, U.S.,
Oh.
world, and Asia.
Okay, this is who can ride the Professor Schmitt ride.
Well, the whole wheelbase thing.
Oh wow.
Most women are they're skating like this. Little kids and women are skating like this.
Right.
They look like they're riding a snowboard, right?
Yeah.
I can't get to the nose because I can't do that, right?
Is board sizes becoming like shoe sizes now?
No.
Like you.
But
It
shoes
should.
are like shoe sizes,
Well,
right?
but it should though, no?
It should be.
It should
in my
be.
mind,
Yeah.
And it's not super specific. It's general.
Well, you got Cordano riding a 15-inch wheelbase now,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's tailored to hit. We'll talk about all this.
all-
It's all preference at the end of the day.
Yeah,
But
there's
is
no
it
right or wrong in
preference
skateboarding.
or
Well, we'll get into
the
it.
preference comes to the functionality though,
Yeah.
right?
But some people might like riding a longboard. Like people like ride longboards in the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a preference there. Like when I go skate downhill, I like to ride a longboard.
Yeah.
Right.
Way more
right.
casual, comfortable.
Okay.
You know, way less likely to
But
speed wobble.
if you're skating a 20 stair,
I don't skate 20 stairs.
Oh.
I don't have that. That's not a problem for me. I step 20 stars.
But if you
I
were, you
slide
want the
down
best
the rail.
performing product.
Yes.
Put one pin in and measure. Right. Oops.
What are we getting here?
So I couldn't get it out of Orange County fast enough to drop something off at weekend. I was like, wait a minute, this is a perfect example of discussion. It's the exact same shape in 4 different molds with all these varieties and variables.
what is that?
4 different molds. We'll get into it.
4 molds, but all the same shape.
And we never talked about this when I was here before, but this past week was Halloween Fame Week, and obviously you guys, your generation of people are starting to become part of the Hall of Fame, right?
I can't. I'm waiting for my my nomination.
He
Yeah.
just found out it existed, and he's like, yeah,
I did not find out it existed, Kelly. I've known about the Skateboarding Hall of Fame for a while. Okay. That's dope, isn't it? I just need a mantle, Paul. That's what we were talking about last
Oh yeah,
night.
we
right?
yeah,
definitely need
So
that.
these I'll just
I need
keep
a
down here and I can pick up
We'll
and
get the
use.
house to fit the
yeah.
I've never won an award before. During our live show, Charlie's always photoshopping stuff and doing AI stuff, and we show it, we laugh, and then he did that. He did the one of me, and then we're like, dude, this has to be a board. And then so we did Kelly and then Jerron, and we put them together.
right.
You know, to take off the FA stuff, but
Yeah?
it's our own version, the fucked up 9 Club
Version,
kids.
yeah. So it's a brand new book of skateboarding history. I was honored to write the foreword for it.
Oh.
It's written by Jonathan Oliveris, and it's about product.
Wow.
Not about branding, not about marketing, not about art. And this guy, this same skater, made a book about chairs.
Oh, there's a note in there for you too.
Good deal. And I got his book about chairs and went through it and was just blown away because it's very just like a documentarian style of what's happening.
Oh, there's a foreword.
So here's the foreword that I wrote. So basically it gets into the generations of products.
Yeah.
So Skateboarding Hall of Fame, Todd Huber was part of this.
Yep.
There's actually an exhibit in London right now at a museum that's going to travel around the world on skateboard history. You know, this is all foundational. You know, like a molded kicktail.
Damn.
Makaha
Look at that.
patented the kicktail in 1969. Skateboards weren't even being commercially produced at that time.
Look at that.
But when you mix the kicktail with the urethane wheel a couple years later, kaboom. So Makaha sold this pressed plywood blank. And in working in the book, he was like, well, is this real or not? Or is it fake? You know, and they were wondering. And I reached out to Larry Stevenson's son, and he's like, no, that's real. My dad made those. And it's like, and his idea wasn't for you to cut it out. You could have, but it was just, here's a molded kicktail skateboard, right? You know, he had a patent for it, but he couldn't afford to protect that patent. Never did. So the two patents we have in skateboarding that were never protected that we're grateful for are the kicktail and the radius on a Bones wheel.
Yeah, life.
Now patents only last 20 years anyway, so they'll be gone by now. Yep, life. I saw Patty the other week. She's still around and kicking.
Amazing.
Amazing lady.
What's her name?
Patty McGee. So realize this was a center of skateboarding. I mean, center of life in general, Life magazine in the 60s, right? There was, you know, it wasn't People magazine, there was Life magazine, right? You know, that kind of thing. So it was a huge introduction of skateboarding. And the crazy thing, female, right? And then really female skateboarding went away. It was still there in the 70s and stuff, but went away in the 80s and 90s. And now it's back and kicking. Oh my gosh.
Fully back.
Amazing, right? So grip tape was a part of skateboarding progressing. The urethane wheel by Frank Nasworthy's part of it. Here's a Santa Cruz board with a fiberglass board with urethane. So that's solid fiberglass. Bennett trucks.
Early 70s for this?
Yep. Yep. A Bain board with Chicago trucks on it.
Crazy.
A Z-Flex board.
Z-Flex.
This whole neighborhood area. Influence. Jay's dad made the molds for these boards, to my understanding.
Is that
So here's a bonsai double kick I talked about earlier today. There's an aluminum double kick, no concave skateboard.
Wow.
All right.
There it is.
Here's a Logan Ersky. I saw Robin and Brian Logan last weekend. For the Hall of Fame. Half tracks. My first pro level board, so here's crazy. My first pro level board was a Logan Ersky like this, with a glued on kicktail, half tracks, and OJs.
Wow.
Here we got Road Riders and Kryptonics. Those are like early wheels. Wow.
Jeez.
Pads, you know, becoming part of what skateboarding became. Early Protec.
Crazy.
Protec's existed in the 70s. Lonnie Toff 8-wheeler, laminated plywood.
Is this book out now?
Yeah, it's out. It's officially available now. Like, just started selling in the last week or two.
I love it.
Sims taper kick. Santa Cruz board with rocker, an accentuated rocker in the back for the kicktail. These, I think, were their 5-ply boards, if I remember. Right? These boards of this look were made by a water ski company in Long Beach for Sims and other brands.
They look like that, similar,
they
just
made,
based on
right,
that.
they made it that way. They
Yeah,
made the
the
water
quick
skates,
tape.
and they had the equipment to manufacture that. So here's Powell's first board, is an aluminum quicktail board. It's laminated aluminum and epoxy and maple. No concave,
Tracker
obviously.
trucks.
Yep. Bones wheels. Started Bones wheels, right? Look at this. So this is just all about product. Here's a Turner summer ski with Sims branded one. The Lonnie Toff model, but a regular one. So he was a pro in the 70s, but he rode the 8-wheeler. He was progressive. He was part of product development. He was part of early snowboarding. Really amazing
What was the
dude.
first pro model board?
I think Torger Johnson
And that
in
was
the 60s.
in the 60s.
Yeah. Yeah, it happened way back then. So here's early indies.
I think you got $2 a board.
Imagine.
Didn't get that back then.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. In the 60s.
Dogtown Bigfoot, chairman
That's
of the
actually
board.
good in the 60s.
Is that Hudson? Yep, that's Hudson. Santa Cruz downhill.
Salba.
Salba doing an indie air.
Let's go.
Wow. Dogtown Triplane
Wow.
with, I mean, not the Triplane, the Shogokubo board with the beams in it. The Triplane was the first concave board. This was flat. There's clear grip tape. Alan Gelfand riding a pair of fish sticks.
Crazy.
So those are wooden rails made by a skater in a Clearwater, Florida named Steve Fisher. And he was a drummer in a band. And the lead singer in the band comes to me. So when I made my rails, they automatically called them Schmitt sticks. It wasn't a choice. Competing skate park across the bay. These are Schmitt sticks. Yeah. Then the drummer from the band, the singer from the band comes to me and say, I'm an art major in marketing at the University of South Florida. Here's your logo. And he made me a logo.
And you went with the first logo?
Yeah, I had that. That was the logo. It had 2 X's in it at first. Schmitt sticks had 2 X's originally.
I remember that.
But that picture's from Cherry Hill. Amazing. So here's a Powell Beamer board. And in that era, they tried to make boards stronger by putting beams in them. But by thinning out the middle, by thinning out the edge, the board just got beat up instantly. Then it took more work to make, and then they fell apart real quick. So there was nothing special about the Beamer boards. Didn't make it to concave. Here's rails. There's a Schmitt Sticks Type 2 rail.
Here's everything to protect the board.
Yeah. Yeah. So that says 79. My rails actually started in 78, but that's an 86 version of the rail.
Skate tool first. Is that the first of its
Elephant
kind?
wrench. Elephant wrench. It was the basis skate tool of the era, that for sure. So as we get into 80s here now, Ray Bones, classic graphic, bright light. So here's what's crazy. In this era, Powell made boards with round edges. And then when Bonac came out, they went to square edges.
Yeah, I gotta pick this thing up.
So here's the Sims Nitro wheel. So I did the printing on that wheel. You see that little key in there? I had to develop a system with the wheel guys so that we could register the wheel, because it's raised print like that New Deal was, with heat stamp on top of it.
Okay.
Rocco freestyle board.
That's my first board.
Really? Wow. That's cool. McGill. So McGill was a local of me in my park in Florida as a kid. Used to come skate our ramp.
There's a lot of Florida history.
So there's a Santa Cruz AirTech, their attempt to make a foam and fiberglass board that didn't really work well, but they're willing to try.
That classic photo
Yep,
right there.
classic photo, classic board.
Look at that board.
Carabeth. All right.
Is that called the Psycho Stick? Yeah.
Yeah. Gons, classic picture there. So you look at the boards of this era. So this was made in my factory, and you can tell because it's got round edges. The ones that Taylor and Dykema made had square edges. Taylor and Dykema refused to make the boards round on the edge because it was too much work. I refused to make them square because they chipped when you slid down a ramp, and they chipped.
Yeah.
But also in the context of street skating coming about, shinners, right? Like it was dual purpose, right?
Thank you for
know?
making the round edge.
So here's a Santa Cruz blacktop. This was a bow tough material that Gordon and Smith used on their slalom boards. And actually Gordon and Smith made a composite board with foam with a urethane bumper on it that didn't really commercially work with that material on it too.
What did you think of Bonite?
It didn't get used right because it's amazing material.
Yeah.
Amazing material. And I remember seeing a demo in Riverside, and Tony's riding this board, and he's like, these boards are horrible. His board broke and down the middle, and I'm like, and we keep on telling George they're horrible, and he's like, he won't listen. And I'm like, that material's great, but you can't rely on it like that. All right, so here's the Chris Miller Schmitt Sticks board. So this is the first double kick. That's the start of it. And when that board came out, I had my own booth at the ASR show, and people walk up to the booth, and imagine the shop owner and the kid, right? The shop owner would look at, Chris Miller's not on GNS? Well, look at the shape of that board, that's really weird. And the kid would be like, look at that board, there's nothing weird, that's what I want. And it just went off instantly. Well, it looks like that was something that Chris hand painted on top of.
Yeah.
Jeremy Henderson, Hensley, Everslick, Gizmos, the tiny wheels. The Lely board like we talked about earlier.
No, Animal
So you
Farm.
see the nose isn't as long as the tail. So the kick's there.
Yeah. This was the first truly symmetrical board. This one.
No, it's not symmetrical.
This one wasn't. the
Nose
same
is
as
shorter.
this. Oh wow.
Nose is shorter than the tail.
Okay.
But as I said, we made the Siamese board in the same era and we didn't make it symmetrical. I don't know why. Like with the name and everything. Graphic and everything, right? You know? Magazines, media.
Yeah, this is when I was heavy in it right
Wow. This
here. Jim,
is
that
looking
classic
rad,
graphic. Jeez. I want that board. I want to find that board.
Life
somewhere.
that board that meant so much. Life and Sheffy.
That's a great board too. I had that board too.
Yeah.
Everybody stayed away from it. I had it.
Got away with it, huh?
Yeah.
Look at you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you can page through it and read it visually, right, without absorbing the text, it's amazing, you know? I remember this New Deal board from Montesi. Not sure what they're saying about it, because I don't really consider it that iconic. These were iconic. I printed the slicks for these, and when the graphics came in, and you transfer it, the way the heat transfer process worked for the slicks is the paper looked all dull in color, and then the heat and the pressure would turn the ink into a gas and become bright and vivid.
Makes sense.
So it's a really mystical process, and we developed how to deal with it in-house. But these were such an amazing example of it, of being creative and then doing artwork, you know, in a different medium and using it. It was really iconic. So here we're sort of getting into less a product and more really about brands, because this is where we're starting to be homogenized, right? No big deal, no big difference. I'm liking the minimalness of this. Like, there's not too much to look at, not too much to read.
Yeah.
These kind of pages seem pretty heavy to read, but rad tidbits, right? So that's a quick preview
I love that.
from a new book out there. So on the back it says, from its beginnings as a simple wooden plank to the high-tech boards of today, the skateboard has undergone a dramatic evolution. The skateboard explores its design, the materials used to build it. The shapes and sizes have been innovative and popular over the years, featuring photographs and illustrations of historic skateboard decks and equipment. This volume offers a comprehensive overview of the sport's key design milestones and developments. Total honor to play just a tiny little bit of this history, because so much of it was before mine, right? So cool. Good job, Jonathan.
The lab coat just made me feel right at home with. It made me feel like I was on his level, you know.
Did you cool off after a while?
Yeah,
Because it was hot in here
It
first.
was, yeah. How was your with your?
I took my. I literally. No, I put them back on. But it was
Dude
really.
took his shoes and socks off.
Yeah, the socks. Do you get? It gets hot. It's
We gotta
it's
get-
about to get
Yeah.
popping in here.
We gotta get that AC.
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
We gotta get that the nanotube flowing throughout the whole apartment.
Good old nanotube,
Yeah,
huh?
nanotube.
It's amazing how many skaters say that to me now.
Yeah.
Nanotube, like at a skate park, it's like, what's up, Nanotube?
No,
Like that type of thing, or just comments on Instagram,
Nanotube.
where it was a word that was part of my life, was part of everybody's life, they just didn't know it.